So today we'll discuss about the physiology of spinal cord. Introduction. The spinal cord is a vital aspect of the central nervous system housed in the vertebral column of the spinal column. જે આપણે ફર્સ્ટ લેક્ચર લીધું હતું ત્યારે આપણે જોયું હતું કે સેન્ટ્રલ નર્વસ સિસ્ટમની અંદર એક તો બ્રેઇન અને બીજું સ્પાઇનલ કોર્ડ એ બે એના ડિવિઝન હોય. સો એક્ઝામની અંદર પણ they are not going to ask you about the physiology of spinal cord, but generally જે physiology of central nervous systemનો જે એક્ઝામમાં 10 માર્ક્સનો ક્વેશ્ચન generally પૂછાય છે. સો એની અંદર you have to write down the physiology of the brain and the physiology of the spinal cord. So that's why we are discussing this. So moving forward, its purpose is to send motor commands from the brain to the body and sensory information from the body to the brain, as well as to coordinate reflexes. So this is the function of the spinal cord. The spinal cord organizes segmentally with 31 pairs of spinal nerves emanating from it. Situation and extent. Spinal cord lies loosely in the vertebral canal. It extends from the foramen magnum, where it is continuous with medulla oblongata above and up to the lower border of the first lumbar vertebra below. Coverings. Spinal cord is covered by sheaths, which is called the meninges, which are membranous in nature. Meninges are dura mater, pia mater, and arachnoid mater, and these coverings continue as covering of brain. Meninges are responsible for protection and nourishment of the nervous tissue. Shape and length. Spinal cord is cylindrical in shape, and the length of the spinal cord is about 45 centimeters in males and about 43 centimeters in females. So enlargement, we'll skip this. Conus medullaris and filum terminale. Below the lumbar enlargement, spinal cord rapidly narrows to a cone-shaped termination, which is called the conus medullaris. A slender non-nervous filament called filum terminale extends from conus medullaris downwards to the fundus of the dural sac at the level of second sacral vertebra. Segments. Spinal cord is made up of 31 segments. In fact, spinal cord is a continuous structure. Appearance of the segment is by nerves arising from spinal cord, which are called the spinal nerve. So we'll talk about the spinal nerves now. So segments of spinal cord correspond to 31 pairs of spinal nerves in symmetrical manner, and these spinal nerves are cervical segment or cervical spinal nerve, which are 8, thoracic spinal nerve, which are 12, lumbar spinal nerve, which are 5, sacral spinal nerves, which are 5, and the coccygeal spinal nerve, which is 1. So that's how it becomes 31 in number. Now the spinal cord is composed of grey matter and white matter that appears in cross section as roughly H-shaped grey matter surrounded by the white matter. The grey matter consists of the cell bodies of motor and sensory neurons, interneurons, as well as the neuropils. Neuropils matlab neuroglial cells and mostly unmyelinated axons. While the white matter is composed of interconnecting fiber tracts, which are primarily myelinated sensory and motor axons. The support of the grey matter is H make up the right dorsal, right ventral, left dorsal, and left ventral horns. Running longitudinally through the center of the spinal cord is the central canal, which is continuous with the brain's ventricles and filled with cerebrospinal fluid. The white matter organizes into tracts, ascending tract and the descending tract. Now ascending tracts carry information from the sensory receptor to higher levels of the central nervous system, while descending tract carry information from the central nervous system to periphery. The major tracts and their most defining feature are, okay fine, we are not going to have it in detail about ascending and descending tracts, so we are moving forward to spinal cord's function. The spinal cord is the conduit between the brain and the rest of the body. It sends motor command from the motor cortex to the muscles of the body. The sensory information from the afferent fibers to the sensory cortex. Additionally, the spinal cord can act without signals from the brain in certain instances. The spinal cord independently coordinates reflex using reflex arcs. In previous lecture, આપણે જોયું છે what reflex arc is. Reflex arcs allow the body to respond to sensory information without waiting for input from the brain. Now the reflex arc starts with a signal from a sensory receptor which is carried to the spinal cord via a sensory nerve fiber synapsed on an interneuron carried over to the motor neuron, which stimulates an effector muscle or organ. The spinal cord also has central pattern generators, which are interneurons that form the neural circuits, which control rhythmic movements. Although the existence of central pattern generator in human is controversial, so the lumbar spinal cord produces rhythmic muscle activation without volitional motor control or step-specific sensory feedback, suggesting their role in the human movement. Mechanism. 3 connective tissue layers called meninges conceal the spinal cord. Directly lining the spinal cord is the pia mater, which also thickens to form the denticulate ligament. Anchoring the spinal cord is the middle of the vertebral canal. The next layer of meninges is the arachnoid mater. Between the pia mater and arachnoid mater is the subarachnoid space, which contains cerebrospinal fluid. On top of the arachnoid mater is the last layer of the meninges, the dura mater, then the epidural space separating the meninges from the vertebral column. The spinal cord extends from the medulla oblongata of the brainstem at the level of the foramen magnum. In an adult human, the spinal cord gives rise to 31 pairs of spinal nerves, each of which originates from the adjacent spinal cord segment. Cervical nerves, which is C1 to C8, there is an enlargement of the spinal cord here because spinal nerves from this area go to the upper extremities, which has more neural input and output. Then thoracic nerves from T1 to T12. The lumbar nerves from L1 to L5. There is an enlargement here as well to account for the lower extremities, and the sacral nerves from S1 to S5, and the coccygeal nerves, which is CO1. Spinal nerves emerge from the spinal cord as rootlets, which conjoin to form 2 nerve roots. The anterior nerve root contains motor fiber extending from the anterior horn to peripheral target organs. The motor neurons are multipolar with at least 2 dendrites, a single axon, and 1 more collateral branches. They control skeletal muscle and the autonomic nervous system. The posterior nerve roots contain sensory fibers and dorsal root ganglia. They contain sensory fibers transmitting sensory information from the periphery towards the central nervous system. The sensory neurons located at dorsal root ganglia are pseudo-unipolar. The anterior and posterior nerve root converge into spinal nerves, which split into dorsal and ventral rami. Dermatom is a skin area innervated by a single spinal nerve root or spinal cord segment. There are 5 spinal plexuses, which include sensory and motor nerves from the anterior rami. Cervical plexus, which is from C1 to C5, which the deep branches innervate neck muscles, and the superficial branches innervate the skin on the neck, head, and chest. The cranial plexus also has an autonomic function, including control of the diaphragm and the interaction with the vagus nerve. Second is a brachial plexus, which is from C5 to T1, which controls the movement of sensation of the upper extremities. Then there is lumbar plexus, which is from L1 to L4, which controls the movement and sensation of the abdominal walls, thigh, and external genitals. Sacral plexus, which is from L4, L5, and S1 to S4, which controls the movement and sensation of the foot, leg, and thigh. and coccygeal plexus, which is from S4 to S5 and CO, innervates the skin around the tailbone. The spinal cord tapers to its end, termed the conus medullaris, at the level of the second lumbar vertebra in adults. Past the conus medullaris, a bundle of spinal roots extends, termed the cauda equina. The cauda equina and the subarachnoid space continues until S2 and is the target location for a lumbar puncture. So lumbar puncture generally અહીંયા કરવામાં આવે. So what can be the clinical significance? Okay, so spinal cord injury can be complete or incomplete. A complete injury based on the International Standard Neurological Classification of Spinal Cord Injury, which is ISN CSCI examination developed by American Spinal Cord Injury Association, implies that there is no sensation at the inferior segment of the spinal cord S4, S5 and no deep anal pressure, which is called DAP also, or the voluntary anal contraction, which is VAC, are present. If no perianal sensation is present and DAP and VAC are absent, the present function below the level of injury is a zone of partial preservation. તમારા નથી કરવાનું, just for your knowledge. An injury in the cervical region often result in the quadriplegia if both sides of spinal cord are affected, and hemiplegia if only one side is affected. Nerves from C3, C5 and C3, C4 and C5 stimulate the phrenic nerve, which controls the diaphragm. So injury to C4 and above may result in the permanent need for a ventilator. An injury to the thoracic region often limits to the function of nerves related to the lower torso and lower extremities, and usually does not affect the upper torso and upper extremities, except in rare cases such as, for example, subacute post-traumatic ascending myelopathy. Injury to the spinal cord often causes loss of bowel and bladder control, loss of sexual function and blood pressure dysregulation, as spinal cord relies autonomic and somatic information. So this was about the physiology of spinal cord. So again separately નથી પૂછાતું, but જ્યારે 10 માર્ક્સની અંદર physiology of CNS પૂછાય, so you have to write down the basic things about the physiology of spinal cord. So yeah, this was it, and let me know if you are having any query. આ બધું જ તમે 12th માં biology માં ભણીને આવ્યા છો, so there isn't any need to elaborate all these things. Yeah.